Good morning, Facebook, Instagram. I've been talking this morning about entrepreneurship and creativity, and I noticed that yesterday I saw it was a friend's birthday, and it's a friend who I've always had. I bickered with him over many years. It was Spike Lee. And we would argue over my level of support for some organizations versus others. We would argue over what best to say about the condition of the black community, what was, too compassionate, too soft a stance, and what was, appropriate. And then I would question his opinions and therefore judge him, yet I wanted to have my own unorthodox opinions all the time. And it made me think about youth and motivation for creativity. And I remember being young and I hated everything to do with the establishment. There was nothing good, and especially in music. If you made a song and it sounded like the songs that other people made, the polish that black music had, say, oh, that's a pussy, that bullshit. That's soft ass music. And I had to judge it heavily. I couldn't stand Michael Jackson's moonwalk or his haircut, his nose, nothing. Not Michael Jackson, this is not Thriller. I hated Michael and Prince all the way ever since. Those are lines from the rappers who had the same attitude. We're not part of Michael and Prince, we're new. We have a new generation. We couldn't appreciate, I didn't like the executives. They used to wear these little alligator shoes and these bitch-ass they used to carry these bags, Louis Vuitton bags, and we always made fun of them in order for us to foster our own. And the reason that we did that is it was the lack of confidence in our own opinions and our own creativity, or there is some part of it was a lack, our dislike of other people's process was, you could trace it back to our lack of confidence in our own. And I used to think that, my disdain for other people's work was part of the motivation or even part of the nucleus of my creativity. But in fact, it was limiting. And the reason that I bring that up is because it has to do with knowledge of self and love for self. And once we are confident, then we can see the good in others and their ideas, and therefore adopt some of what's already great into our thought process and not lose our creativity. I always talk about creativity in a sense of, if you're an entrepreneur, there's a white space. There's these few things that are being made for your people and for your community, just a few. And the rest of the world is untouched. The rest of the innovative ideas are untouched. If you work in an industry, you may not see an idea. For instance, when I worked in music and I looked at financial service, it was easy to see. So why don't they got credit cards? Why are they locked out? And then when I went to financial service people to help to create the company, they just made blank expressions because they had been educated. And most of us are trained to demonize or not to see everything around us that we don't understand. And as we become more self-aware, we become able to see the goodness in others and in their ideas. And we don't demonize others, we see the good in others, and in doing so, we become even more creative and a greater engine for delivery of our own good ideas. We don't waver to become followers. We don't waver to become, as the masses are, they're all sheep in many cases for many things, and the lack of their ability to see the holes, and they jump into the businesses that other people are already in because they can't imagine anything different but the world that's been presented to them. So there's those two sides. There's the one side where we love our idea And then there's the side that, and there's the opportunity to love already, to love the things that are already in the world. They can match together. So I'm talking about creativity in a way, every idea comes from presence. You cannot be creative except in the present moment. So the noise that we talk about alleviating in every lecture and every discussion, this idea of Godhead or God consciousness or nirvana or Christ consciousness or what is it? Muslims call it taqwa. This idea of enlightenment is freedom to see others as beautiful and other things as beautiful, but yet to have a steadfast understanding of what works for you. It's operating from your heart out instead of the outside in. It's a little bit more complex than usual, but I hope you can grasp the idea. It's okay to, not only is it okay, it's a goal to be able to love the self and to see others and their ideas and yourself and your ideas you can love and see others and their ideas as having great value as well. It's a complex in a way, because we think it's not, it sounds simple on the surface, then as you get deeper you understand that the demonizing of others is almost the demonizing of ourselves. We say that every day too, but it is almost, it belittles our own ideas when we can't lift up others' ideas and see others. It goes back to, finally, as I get older, seeing all the beauty and all the ideas that were promoted by Spike, the ones I criticized so heavily are the ones that made him unique. And allow people to be unique. Allow your brothers to be Jews, Muslims, Christians. Allow them to be Buddhists, and still have faith in God and however it was delivered to you and however it works for you. And then you can see, as I always talk about, God is in all things and all people. Anyway, let's meditate. We do every day. Sit up, be comfortable. Frank, you'll join me? Yes. Or sit still. My friend Frank Cooper is here. He used to be the head of business affairs at Def Jam. Then he got rich. Where do you work now?
BlackRock.
He works at BlackRock. Say hello. He never fuck with Instagram. No social media for Frank.
This is it right here.
That was the most social media Frank has done. He told me that he sits on social media to look at other people sometimes, but then don't need to tell them shit about what he's doing. He's making more money than God, so this nigga don't want none of you to see him. But he's visiting me in Bali, he's gonna sit with us. Brother Gary? Oh, he right here. Gonna set the alarm. We're gonna sit and be patient. Frank, do you meditate?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna sit and we're gonna share a collective mantra, as we often do. It's rum. It's just a vibration. It has no meaning. It does reflect, a vibration does have to do with your second chakra. But for us, it has no meaning. It's just a vibration. It comes and goes. But we try to hold it steadfast because single-pointed focus is meditation. And that's a very important thing. Single-pointed meditation is enlightenment. So single-pointed focus. But if we lose the mantra, it's fine. We say the vibration to ourselves. We lose it to a thought. Think the thought. Gently come back to the mantra over and over again. And be patient. The number one thing a meditator needs to be a good meditator is patience. So sit and be patient. Be comfortable. If you want to scratch, scratch. If you want to swallow, swallow. There'll be a time that when you swallow, it's like a bomb going off in your head, so you may not do it. But in the short term, just sit, be patient, comfortable. It's okay to think thoughts, but gently come back to the mantra. The mantra is rum, and you say it to yourself, over and over to yourself. You think this mantra, let the vibration consume you. Close your eyes and begin. So begin to breathe a little bit more deeply. When you're ready, flicker your eyes. Slowly come back. Carry this kind of calmness with you today. Try to be a moving meditator. Make your breath your soundtrack today and become the watcher. So, like I was saying, hate hurts the hater. Compromises the nervous system, causes cancer, and it's tantamount to hating yourself. Hating others is, in fact, hating yourself. Since we all connected to one living, breathing entity, all the harm we cause and all the ill will that we promote is to ourselves. We are not our minds or our bodies. We have minds and bodies. Imagine us as cells of one living, breathing entity. I like to say, if God were the ocean, we'd be cups of God. So try to, not to demonize your brother, because he is wrong does not make you right. Her idea is not yours, doesn't diminish yours. So today, try to be a little less judgmental, a little more open. It's part of your own process and practice to bring you to enlightenment, which is your birthright. And in this lifetime or the next, enlightenment will come. Every day you move closer to it, whether you like it or not. Of course you like it, but even the things that you do that cause harm are part of your process to move towards enlightenment. It's best to do things prescribed by Scripture. You move faster. All right, have a beautiful day. Thank you, Frank, for sitting with us.
Thank you.